Welcome race fans to the fantastic Le Mans circuit for this special event here on Gran Turismo 7. We'll be following the progress of star driver RickyBobby here in the Le Mans prototype Toyota GR. And it's time to get underway for this rolling start. We'll be 6 laps deep into this, and we will be able to focus on every single moment as we start, of course, in the dark conditions. Medium tyres are the way to go for this 6-lap sprint for the great driver here as we get started in P4, surrounded by Brazilians and a couple of Americans too. We can't wait to see exactly what is going to go down. The starting order is underway. The lights will be shown to the drivers, and it's drop the clutch and go, go, go. Immediately we get straight onto the throttle, of course, as we run down towards Dunlop at this first time of asking and stealing a little bit more curb than the car in front. We need to keep an eye on our mirrors as well, of course, as drivers will be taking every opportunity at this early stage through the first part of Dunlop and down Descente de la Chapelle and in towards the Est de Terre Rouge, and down, dropping through the gears. We are getting much better apexes in the car in front, possibly just taking a little bit steadily there, Gustavo Neri, and running through the Terre Rouge corner and onto the Mulsanne straight for the first time. What a run we've had there, and we get tucked up deep. I think it's going to be a shake and bake, bump and run immediately here for RickyBobby as we see the sun starting to rise. We're going to use the car in front just to punch a hole in the air in down this famous straight. We're still trying to pick out our braking point here. Don't want to get too close to the car in front. Not quite sure how he's going to be handling things. And through the chicane we go, bumping over those curbs as well. I'm sure checking in on the progress of the drivers behind in our mirrors as well. A little kick of dirt coming up through from one of the cars in front there, as it looks like Gustavo is doing exactly what we just managed to do underneath his diffuser. He's having a go at his countryman Piguitar, and up in the front we still have Filippi 2, and behind us Roca as well. Colapinto from Argentina has moved forward, and our other compatriot here from the USA has dropped way outside of the top 8. So waving old glory on his own here is RickyBobby. Once again then, a little tuck underneath the car in front. Going to use that car a little. We just had to jink it to the outside because there's a little bit of movement under braking. Caution then as we rejoin the car in front, also getting a little bit out of shape, but he got into that a little bit too deeply, in fact, and there's a lot of dirt being kicked up. 0.3 of a second is the gap behind. Nervous time here now for RickyBobby as we head down this great curving flat out section with the golf course on our left, and we're looking then for those braking points. It's a tricky corner entry in towards the Indianapolis here. You can see the brakes being snatched by the car in front. The sun rising as we exit out of there and into Arnage, one of the corners that catches drivers out the most. And there goes P3 down, dropping way back down the order to P6, and RickyBobby up to 3rd. It's Felipe from Gustavo. RickyBobby then as we head towards those Porsche curves for the first time of asking. Roca's in 4th with Colapinto. Phoenix, Piguitar's down now to 7th place, and Bozo down in 8th as well, in towards the first of those Porsche curves. Helicopter watching on very carefully then as we go right, left, right, and then left again through here at the Esto karting, and we'll see the Maison Blanche, the White House, on our right hand side as we exit out of the flat out chicane, looking for our braking point. That's pit entry on our right. This is the Ford chicane, of course, the penultimate braking point of the lap, and right down into Virage de Raccordement chicane to finish out underneath the start finish lights, and a blink and you miss it. First lap of 3:32.997. Losing track slightly of the car in front there, the 1.6 seconds, and a total of over double that to 3. Well, it was 3, now it's 2 seconds to the leader, Felipe 2. He's not out of reach yet, though. There's plenty still to play for. Lap 2 then, as we start to try and extend that gap behind to Roca. And this was where Ricky was so strong on the previous lap, maximising the width of this Terre Rouge corner, and flat out, of course, at the earliest opportunity. Try and see if we can get somewhere near to catching a toe on the car in front. Try and see if we can also discourage the toe from the car behind, which is now tucked in. You can see the gap dropping to that car behind. It's now underneath 0.6 of a second, looking for that braking zone once again. And that is a little bit hot into the first part, but recovering nicely over the curb, using that curb to just try and arrest the speed of our Toyota as we try and then get back on the power. But we lost a big chunk of time, both to the car in front and the car behind, and they're a check in the mirrors. You can see Rocker is right here. We're going to defend slightly. We're on the racing line right now, and we'll be expecting to see our rival just peeling off to our left. He dives down the inside line. He will not be able to get into the second part of the second chicane here quite as well, and that's perfect exit then for RickyBobby as Rocker goes way out wide, and a big net loss there for Rocker, who was caught out on the inside line. RickyBobby just allowing him that inside line, knowing of course that it's all about the exit out of the second chicane, down the Courbe des Unondiers and in towards Mulsanne corner, tight right, with a slightly curved braking point entry to the corner, which is very easy to get caught out. Back on the throttle again, of course, as we spend much of the first few sectors of this racetrack on that full throttle condition, and we are at absolute VMAX, approaching now the hybrid battery, still with plenty of power left in it, bouncing off the rev limiter as we drop down through the gears and then slam on the brakes as soon as we're in a straight line heading into Indianapolis and underneath the advert hoarding and into the slowest corner really on the lap, and that is the Arnage corner. No problems for RickyBobby so far. A nice daybreak condition happening at the moment. We've got a crosswind pretty much down the Mulsanne straight, which is going to be tricky to manage, especially into Indianapolis and through these Porsche curves. These cars look fantastic, but they are like a giant sail when they're at speed, and trying to go through these corners with a crosswind will upset the rear of the car on mid corner, and the drivers will be scrambling for grip. And we're a little bit understeery out of Estor Karting and past Maison Blanche section, but 2.7 seconds is our gap in front, and straight in towards the pit lane we go with RickyBobby. We'll see how much, I don't think fuel is required here, but a second set of medium tyres, that is very early and ahead of expectations, you have to say. Well ahead, of course, of the halfway point, which would be the mid, would be the end of the next lap, start of lap 4 when he would come in. But it looks like Colapinto, the Argentine driver, has gone in behind him as well, and this is a roughly equitable amount of fuel has been burnt off. We probably won't need to put a great deal of fuel in here, but clearly a set of mediums isn't going to last the full 6 laps. No fuel at all for RickyBobby. Gets straight back out on the power, but Colapinto, well, it seems to be that he had a better pit stop entry phase and has been able to get out ahead here. Perhaps it was RickyBobby being held in the pit lane as Colapinto came by that cost him that time. So a net loss then for RickyBobby, down to 14th position at this stage. Yellow flag up ahead though. That's cold tyres for somebody, possibly even Colapinto. Let's see, but it's Power who is out in P13. And there, I think that is Power, who has disconnected, it seems. Unfortunately, a mechanical issue then for Power, who falls out of the running. And that's at least 1 place gain then for RickyBobby, as he'll be then focusing his sights on Colapinto, who had that position earlier on. There's another yellow flag momentarily up ahead. There you can see the marshal waving frantically for the attention. Thankfully, it's during the daylight conditions here. The headlights are still on, but there's plenty of good visibility out here. It's the outlap right now, and we'll be keeping an eye then on the gap to leader, which is 32.6 seconds, and the gap to the car in front, currently 4.4 seconds, with DLC stuff in 14th place, some 1 minute and 2 further behind. So clearly having a very, very bad start to the race. Clicking through those gears, the Toyota very much responding nicely. It looks like it's a spec race, but it means that the the difference maker is just the setup of the car and of course the driving skill. These are the very best drivers that Gran Turismo had to offer on the day. The braking zone, you can see a nice diagonal line there by RickyBobby so that he can get on the brakes nice and tidy. He's already caught the car in front by nearly 0.2 of a second in just 2 sectors of this outlap. Back on the power hard, and we will be expecting then drivers to pit at the end of this lap, I would imagine. So we will fully expect that while he has brand new tyres on, RickyBobby will be able to go that little bit faster than the cars up ahead of him. He has to lean on the tyres. It's going to mean pain later on at the final part of the race when his tyres are 1 lap older. But we'll trust to luck and a little bit of fortune here to see if we can't hold on to our position. 33.1 seconds is the gap to the leader now. So a net gain for RickyBobby. This is the important sector of the race, of course, when you can't see your rivals that you're really racing with, but it is all about your performance on your outlap and in-lap combination relative to the cars who were traveling at full flying speed. There you can see the leader, well, at least P2 and P3 that we were racing with earlier on, heading on into the pit lane. Another 10% of fuel burnt off by them as we head past that pit lane entry. Won't be needing to worry about that. Yellow flags, I think, just for that pit lane entry potentially, but now the field is starting to really condense up ahead as Colapinto has lost time following cars who are on worse tyres at this stage. So filing past the pit lane, we will gain some positions. You can see Felipe and the lead of the race still has yet to make his pit stop, and we make that overtake past Roca, and that's important. But while Gustavo's tyres are cold, remember we were following this this car with the Oracle rear wing earlier on. He's scratched the paintwork on the rear right corner of the car, and you can see already understeering the car in front into the corner. Let's see if Ricky can get that exit out of Tête Rouge corner, and he's really leaning on that. He's risking a penalty potentially. We will see as Gustavo trying to close the door, but I'm afraid Gustavo, the horse, has already bolted. We will stall here slightly our speed difference because we are essentially punching the same gap in the air as the car to our left, and we're on the racing line, and we know how this went earlier on. Down into the inside of the corner, just yielding that position to focus on the exit, possibly trying to attach to the rear of Gustavo there, who is going to have that just tiny little deficit of exit speed. But no, all we are interested in is our VMAX down these straightaway sections and heading towards that second chicane. Just use the car in front, just keep bumping him forward, and then we will steal any speed that he can offer. And that was clumsy slightly. We need to be a little bit further back, and we're risking a penalty there. Gustavo's tail getting snappy, and that might come to our advantage in the fullness of time as we run through here. But you know what they say, Rubin's racing, but that is damage on the front wing of this Toyota LMP car. So peeling across to the inside here in towards Mulsanne for the difficult braking zone, stealing that inside line through the apex and then straight to the outside. No worries about the car behind. That's a gain for position then up to P7, remembering that the cars in front, with the exception of Colapinto, all expecting still to pit. Maybe they'll be able to use soft tyres at the end of this race. Maybe that is what they are gunning for, to just run a 2-lap stint on soft tyres. So that's going to be playing into the mind of RickyBobby at this stage. Braking heavily then down in towards Indianapolis once again. The car responding beautifully and really tucking in to the apexes as we run down in now towards that Arnage corner. Once again, everything looking very calm, very settled, but a quick look behind because we've got both Gustavo and Roca just riding our tail. It's Colapinto who has, I think, lost a good chunk of time on this lap. I think he struggled through the third sector there in towards Porsche curves, and it's right followed by 2 lefts as we'll try and back ourselves here. Use the apexes, use what we know to be a better line through the corners. Perhaps the setup is really helping here I don't know if we're wearing a little bit more drag, a little bit overzealous through the apex there, through I think part 4, turn 4 of the Porsche, and in towards the S-Dog, karting down into the fourth chicane. And this is right on the nose of the car. You can see really good reaction then from the grip of the car, using every inch of the track and maybe an extra 1 or 2, as all the other cars in the lead of the race, apart from the outright leader Felipe, now heading in towards pit road. As we brake heavily in towards Dunlop, then we are focused fully on the car in front. We're opening the gap to the car behind. 1.1 seconds should be sufficient to stop and overtake down the Mulsanne here, but once again trying to nail that exit out of the next right. This is Tertre Rouge. That's a purple sector. Things are going very well for RickyBobby at this stage. That means he is the fastest car on track right now as we enter into the final third of this fantastic sprint race. Getting ready, trying to obviously win the race. Being in the top half means additional GT7 rating, which is at the forefront of everybody's mind of here, trying to get hold of that elusive A+ rate as we run through the first chicane. That's a net gain once again, and the car behind able to ride a little bit the slipstream, but not enough to really close in and produce anything too dangerous. We've had a tiny touch of contact. Damage is now clear, and we are back straight on the throttle as we look for that braking zone right on the 100-meter board. As a penalty coming for Colapinto, that red 0.5, it just means he'll be off throttle for half a second, barely a blink of an eye, and we fire out of that second chicane. It looks like Ubera is struggling on his tyres. They have now done 4 and almost a half laps from the start of this race. He closes out the inside line. Ricky says absolutely none of that, thank you very much. I'm holding the line and firing through. Mulsanne we go once again. A personal best, 1.8 seconds faster than we have gone before on board this Toyota, with the red line down the center. This is RickyBobby for the USA. The only North American in the top 8, the top half of this field right now, and in towards the Indianapolis braking zone. You can see the penalty will be paid momentarily for Colapinto, so we've got to get right on his gearbox here. Another purple sector then for RickyBobby, and we are absolutely flying, but we are going to be vulnerable later on if Felipe does take the soft tyres flat out, and through we go as if we were using DRS, but it's just that half-second penalty off throttle that has cost Colapinto here. He gained on us and passed us through the pit stops, but relentless running from here from RickyBobby means there's just 2 cars ahead, and I don't think either of them have pitted. Let's wait to see. Piguita in front, just 2.3 seconds. I'd be surprised if he hasn't pitted yet, but we will wait and see, and then we'll be focused on what tyres Felipe takes, and will he be dangerous later on in towards our final flying lap of the race. Into the pit lane then comes P2. That will promote RickyBobby into that second step on the podium. A lot of the apex being taken there. We must surely have pit stops from the cars in front. Again, that is the fastest lap of the race, at 3:27.341. And I'm not sure whether possibly even Felipe took hard tyres to start this race. We will wait and see. 5.9 seconds is the target here to win the race. 1.1 seconds behind exactly what it was before on the previous lap at this point. Ricky will be feeling pretty relaxed. The medium tyres are a good couple of laps away from being in the danger zone in terms of grip. As we exit out of Tertre Rouge then, for the final time, we are flat out and foot pinned against the bulkhead. 6.1 seconds is the gap. Straight back onto the onboard there to check out what's happening behind. We are A-OK. So just exploring the different views available, and down through the gears. 4th gear entry, that is absolutely flying. We've got such supreme confidence on the brakes. And again, nailing a purple sector. That is going to frighten Felipe because the car chasing him is the fastest on track right now. But the gap to the leader, 6.2 seconds. That feels unassailable, but the pressure now very much on Felipe 2's shoulders. So pressure does funny things to drivers in the lead of races. We will wait and see as we're extending the gap to the Argentine behind Colapinto. Again, another purple sector. The margins are so tight. That's less than 1/10 of a second over 3 or 4 kilometers of this first section of the race, heading in towards the Mulsanne corner now. And we're at almost full daylight conditions. Down we go into first gear and back on the power. There's a green flag in front. Now that indicates that the car in front may have had a little off-track moment. His tyres might be giving up. So that is definitely going to be fueling the hopes of RickyBobby here, who I'm sure at this stage is dreaming of the top step and spraying the champagne flat out once again down this straightaway and in towards the Indianapolis braking zone. Get everything right, get that apex out to the outside of the corner, straight back over to the left side, get the car settled on the brakes. Don't take too much curbs because you'll unsettle the car and you'll get a little spinny moment there from the rear end. But a great exit. It's down to 5.2 seconds now. A big loss through that sector from Felipe 2, and he has lost grip, and for the first time we can see the leader up ahead. And that is going to be very motivational. Right, left we go through all the Porsche curves and past the Estel karting section. A Maison Blanche will come up ahead of us to greet us as we come through. But it is looking like second place is going to be the way this race is going to go. It's still going to be a terrific result here down in towards the Ford chicane, unless Felipe 2 completely throws it away. He's through the final chicane. We go in next, and it looks like it's going to be a fantastic second place for RickyBobby following home Felipe 2, who showed a fabulous run there, the Brazilian in P1. Just behind RickyBobby is Colapinto in third, with Roca, Gustavo Neri, Fenix Michel, Oriba Traverso El Grande will be the next one across the line, another Argentine. And how about that for Ricky? That's got to feel good being ahead of the other USA drivers. Orbira in P9 with Bozo Terra gaining over Orbiro at the end with a penalised run. Looks like we've had a end of race penalties there. Orbira with an entire minute penalty. And so that seems to have promoted Ab Carino. But for RickyBobby, he cares little about the tail runners there in the order. He has managed to get a great A-rated field P2 here at Le Mans. Thanks so much everybody for watching. We will hopefully catch you down the road sometime, and we will catch you on the next race day.